Hello, 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 Capricorn. This is Adrienne Obi, Capricorntigress of Astrology A Look Inside, and I am coming to you with my astrological take for our horoscope between now and I would say around about the 20th of October, okay? Okay, excuse me while I dab at this eye. Okay, so you guys, there's a lot coming up, okay? We have a new moon that is coming up in our 10th house of career, and that is happening in 3 days. 3 days. It's going to be in the sign of Libra, and Libra does square Capricorns. So I'm not saying it's not going to be stressful. What I am saying is that it could really boost our career. So at least it's going to have the emphasis in our career. And the interesting thing is, since it's a new moon, it indicates where the emphasis is going to be for the next 2 weeks. So this is a really big new moon. You know, the funny thing about the sign of Libra is that Libra really represents balance. It's a sign that is representative of mediation and negotiation and arbitration and the ability to smooth things over, to see both sides of a situation and then to be able to judiciously come up with a solution or an answer. So I think that's a very good skill for any person to have, but I believe that is a skill that many of us Capricorns possess. And this may really come out to the forefront this upcoming couple of weeks. I mean, I have a feeling people are going to see, they're going to see you as the, as the boss that you are. I just can't see any Caps shirking under this because it's going to be a lot of Libra, okay? We're going to have that new moon in Libra, as I mentioned, on the 28th. But then a lot of things are going to be in Libra. Mercury's going to end up in Libra. The sun is in Libra. Venus, Libra. Mars goes in Libra on the 4th. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of Libra. And that is a lot of 10th house emphasis. Now, this could be either very good for our careers, or this could be very bad for our careers, because let us not forget that at the same time, we've got Saturn and Pluto on the 1st, right? Because we're talking angles here. And I really want to stop for a second and just preface that. We're talking angles here. Okay, you might as well pull out a cigarette. And, this is serious business, okay? Just like, okay, Cappies. So we got our Saturn, which is our ruler, on our 1st house right now. And Pluto is there, and the South Node is sitting on our Saturn. So, this is a really hard time. I know as a Capricorn, I've had issues with this entire ordeal. I've made videos. I'm not going to go too deeply in it, but the South Node sitting on our ruler is not that great of a feeling. I just want people to know that. It's because our ruler, of course, is our ruler, and it wants to rule the chart. It wants to take control. It is our ruler, and so it will do what it needs to do to make sure we feel it on a deeply internal level. Meanwhile, the North Node is sitting in the 7th house, creating all kind of havoc, because it's saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. So over there, what's in the 7th house? Our deepest partnerships, our business partnerships, business deals, our marriage, and open enemies. I've been talking a bunch about, I've made videos about the open enemies too, Caps. If you as a Capricorn have been experiencing a little bit of that, I advise you to watch that and watch me have my own nervous breakdown, because I wonder how many of you can relate to what I'm going through. I have a feeling that almost all of us, Caps, are going through a very similar thing. Oh my gosh, I did it again, you guys. I hope you can hear me. Give me a second, give me a second. Okay, now can you hear me? I'm sorry. I always start running my mouth before checking the microphone. And I hope whatever I said in the beginning of this is going to be like heard later. I'm sure you'll hear me, but it just won't be as deep as you know it is now. Okay. Okay, so here's the situation, and I'll just go into what I was talking about. There is this new moon that is going to be affecting our lives for the next couple of weeks. It starts in 3 days on the 28th. And the 28th, just so I can give you the exact day, is Saturday. And Saturday, by the way, is the day of Saturn, and it is our day, Capricorn. So it is a very important day. As of that day, the new moon on the 28th, that Saturday, there will be the new moon there. Mercury will be there. The sun will be there. Venus will be in Libra, and Mars is going into Libra on the 4th. So, okay, let me breathe. We can take a sip of tea. Okay. So, as I was saying earlier, there is a great deal of emphasis on our 10th house. The 10th house rules our career. It rules our ambitions. It rules our reputation. It rules how people see us. It rules the legacy we leave behind. It rules the people who are in authority over us. And it also rules our ability to handle authority. Okay. So it's a very important house because it is our house, Capricorn. The 10th house is the house of Capricorn. And with this much emphasis going on in the house of Capricorn, even though it's in the sign of Libra, it's our time. And we have to figure out how we're going to take advantage of this. Now, the thing is, with it being in Libra, it's squaring our suns. Most of us are going to get squares from these planets up in our 10th house. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying you're going to have to decide right here and now if you are or are not going to be the authority in your career. If this is your time to take control of your career, this is it. It starts now. I believe, since we're like in harvest time, but I believe for us Capricorns, I believe that what we plant now or harvest now, either or, is going to be very beneficial to us in January. Because see, in January, that's when everything goes direct. I always itch when I do, my nose itches. But you know, the thing is, it goes direct, and we're going to have a lot of emphasis in Capricorn in January. Uranus will be direct by then, and all of this stuff is going to culminate for us, whatever we plan it right now. So this is it. This is it. I would say this next couple of weeks in October, we are planting the seeds for our victory in 2020. And we will have victory in 2020, Caps, because Jupiter is going to be moving into our sign, and we'll have so much emphasis in our sign. And eventually Saturn's going to be going into Aquarius, which is our second house of money. So that's going to have emphasis soon. But let's stay where we are right now, okay? Lots of emphasis on the 10th house in the career. But a lot of this is going to be conducive upon us. And I say that because the South Node and Saturn are conjunct in our first house, and Pluto is there. We have been asked to change for quite some time. We are changing. I doubt very seriously if we are the same as we were a year ago or 2 years ago, because we're constantly in the midst of change. And with this Jupiter about to move into Capricorn, we're going to see even more change. But right now, Jupiter is in our 12th house. I think when that Jupiter's been there, especially now that it's, you know, it went direct and it's on its way into Capricorn now. I think we need to really take stock of our dreams and our just what we really want in this world. Like, what is it we're really going for? And figure that out. Because when it gets in Capricorn, it's all systems go. And so you need to kind of figure that out before it gets into Capricorn, just so you know. Prepare for that. Okay. So that's one of the things. Yeah. And Pluto is not going to be leaving our first house for quite some time. It is about us learning how to wield our power, being aware of our power. I guess how to be a good person with our power, especially with Libra in the 10th house. That is like weighing and balance. It's almost like we're standing there with the balance, like trying to weigh and balance. Are we good? Are we bad? Are we nice? Are we evil? You know, like, what are we right now? Or in our career, I think even people looking at us are figuring that out as well with the sun and Mercury and Venus there. I do think they are going to love us, though. I do think that. But Mars is there. So just know Mars in the 10th house can indicate aggressively and assertively going after your career, but it can also indicate people being, it can war. I can't put it any other way. War. It's out and out war. It is. And I don't really suggest Capricorns go into war. I don't. Because, well, the Sagittarius in the 12th house. I don't want you to go into war with Sagittarius with Jupiter in the 12th house. Your luck is hidden. That might be the art of war. Read the art of war. Our luck is hidden. Our power is hidden. Our battles are hidden. Our warrior is hidden. Our archer is hidden. But he's there. The art of war. Okay? Because diplomacy and doing it, whatever it is, you're up to Capricorn, but doing it in such a way that you don't lose your image is everything right now. You've got all that Libra sitting up there in the 10th house. People are watching you. People see you. Whatever it is you're doing, you're definitely being seen. So be aware of that. As I tell the girls at my Fierce, Fine, and Fabulous group on Facebook, you're queens, put the queen back on your head, put her crowns back on, and be a queen. Remember you're a queen, sit like a queen, act like a queen, be a queen. Don't let anyone take you out of your queendom, okay? And that is important. I really believe that's going to be important over the next couple of weeks. Now, the good thing is on the 23rd, those planets are going to be moving into Scorpio, a lot of those. So I think on the 8th, Venus goes into Scorpio. On the 3rd, I believe it is, Mercury goes into Scorpio. And on the 23rd, the sun goes into Scorpio. So that's that's our 11th house. That's our hopes, our dreams, our wishes. Now we got a little bit of power, okay? Because Scorpio is sextile Capricorn. So it's going to boost everything we desire at that time. And it is the house of hopes and dreams and wishes. It's also the 11th house of groups and associations and organizations that you belong to. You could be very lucky in the groups and associations that you belong to and doing things with other people, reaching out, making friends, making new connections. I really see that becoming a major focal point, especially with the North Node in the 7th house in Cancer. It's telling us to reach out to other people. It's telling us actually to be, I know it's not a good thing that I am so emotional and I share it publicly, but it's telling us to do so. It's telling us to reach out. It's telling us that, yeah, you're going to be kind of seen publicly. Why hide it? It's there. Some of us Caps have a hard time exposing ourselves, exposing our emotions, exposing our feelings, and we hide. I don't know how much we're going to be able to hide over the next few weeks with so much emphasis in the 10th and 7th house. Okay, so it's really important to be aware of that. It's not the time to hide. It's the time to become yourself, come into yourself now. Now, Uranus is in the 5th house. And when I mean come into yourself, I don't mean go off the deep end. I really mean, Gabs, don't go off the deep end. I say that because Uranus is retrograding in her 5th house, and we might be feeling a little bit too much of that freedom. I mean, just like, yeah. And it's Taurus. And so we, you know, it's really vibing with us, a lot of us, Cap. So we have to be cautious of how much of that Uranus vibing we're going to, especially myself, because Uranus is trying my Uranus in Virgo right now. And so I'm aware that there's some weirdness going on with that. The crazy thing with Uranus in the 5th house, though, is that we can backtrack on a lot of things. Like, we might backtrack on out of love. Like, if we were in love, I can see a lot of us backtracking on out of it right now. And, you know, suddenly even, it just might just be that, oh, it might be someone coming back, backtracking back around like a boomerang. Oh, gosh, Lord. Just be aware. These are the kind of things coming and going in the 5th house. And that's love and romance and dating and your children and taking chances and gambling. And it's a fun house, but with Uranus there, it's just cold crazy. So just be aware of that. Chiron in the full moon. Well, I got ahead of myself, but Chiron is in Aries, and there is going to be a full moon in Aries on the 13th. So, you know, I believe that Chiron in that full moon are going to be touching. I don't like that. You know, I don't. Chiron's a little sad. It's a wounded healer. Something's going on in the home. Now, I could tell you something that's going on in my house, and I bet you during that period, around the 13th, I bet you. I see, I don't want to bet. If I have money, someone bet me $50. I bet you. Okay, so my electricity went out in my kitchen, and I bet you they're not going to fix it until the 13th or after. I bet you. Because the full moon is going to be in Aries. That's our 4th house. That's either I'm going to get emotional, or they're going to get emotional, or it's going to get out of hand, or something's going to happen and they're going to have to fix it. And it's coming up. So yeah, that's the full moon. That's the 13th. It will be in the sign of Aries. So, you know, again, this is going to be emphasizing the 4th house, which is our home life, but it is opposing our 10th house, which again puts more emphasis on that career. So please be aware our career over the next month is really being hit a lot of focus. Now, the other thing I really wanted to tell you guys, what did I have here? It's something about the full, oh, we already passed that, the 14th of September. But there's this Neptune is retrograding in Pisces. I'm trying to remember if it went direct already. I know it's going direct soon, but Neptune retrograding in Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces, and it's in the 3rd house. Just know that. And whenever Neptune's in the 3rd house, it does mean that our communication can be a little bit, well, some people might not understand what we're talking about. And they might tell you, I don't understand what you're talking about. This is really going to be true after the 3rd of October, when Mercury is in Sagittarius, and it's eventually going to form that square to that Neptune. And yeah, Mercury square Neptune is never good for communication. So just be aware that, you know, we're going to have some communication issues in the month of October. That probably something to be aware of, be cautious of, especially since there's so much emphasis on our career, and we don't want to do anything to, you know, say anything weird about our career. That's my best advice for you, Caps. And just be aware if things are a little bit heavy, if it feels heavy. I mean, Saturn and the South Node are in our 1st house. My gosh, and Pluto is there telling us to change and transform and face your demons and look at the ugliness of whatever it is you've become and whatever it is around you, because it wants us to transform. It wants us to go anew. And it's not easy. And Saturn is our great taskmaster, our ruler, and it's like a father that's whipping our ass. Right? It's not easy. So anyone who thinks being a Capricorn right now is easy, no, we just make it look easy because we've got all that Libra up in the 10th. That's what Libra up in the 10th does. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it looking good, right, Caps? So look, just be aware there is some heaviness that we might be going through, even if we look polished on the outside. And I invite you guys to find my open enemies or whatever video. I think it's something like enemies and or something of that, because it kind of gives a vibe of what some of you Caps might be going through too. I'm sure of it. It's just par for the course with Saturn in the first house conjunct the South Node. You know, just know that. And the North Node in the 7th, there are going to be people who don't like you, and you might even come up to them to mediate, right? Libra in the 10th trying to mediate. Why don't you like me? Let's work it out. Can we talk it out? And they'll be like, I just don't like you. No reason. They can't give you one. There is none. There's just something about you. Whatever that is. I know it's the South Node sitting on a ruler, but they don't know what it is. Now I've just told you what it is. So don't take it personally when it happens, because it will. And just know over the next couple of weeks, well, there's going to be a lot of emphasis in our 10th house. That means people are watching what we're doing. Be aware. You're being watched. You're being seen. Okay? Put on your best face. Put on your makeup if you're a girl. Or your tie if you're a guy. Don't let them see you sweat. And don't let them see you cry. Because we got this. Okay? You may have to go through a little bit now, but it's all going to be raining Capricorn soon. And no one can hold us down. No one but God. So remember that. Dry your eyes. Wipe away the tears. Because it's all going to be getting better, Capricorn. I want you to know that. So this has been my reading for you, Caps. For, well, now through probably near the end of October. I will come back probably mid-October and give us another reading like this. So I want you to be aware of that. But I do want you to stay strong, okay? And believe in yourself. Believe in your career. Believe that you've done enough. You have done enough. You've done enough. And it's our time, okay? So it's building up to our time. It's not quite there yet, like I said. Jupiter's got to move out of that 12, but it's doing it. It's direct now. It's going forward. Saturn's going forward. Pluto's going forward. We're progressing. This is it. Okay? We're moving into that space. Wherever it is, Caps. Let's ride this wave. We got this. Okay? Okay. Well, this has been Capricorntigress, Adrienne Obi of astrologyalookinside.com. If you haven't already, join me at Astrology A Look Inside on Facebook. We have our groups, so it'd be facebook.com/groups/Astrology A Look Inside. Of course, you can always order at our website at astrologyalookinside.com, and all the other ways you can find us socially, I'm going to put below. Okay, you guys, holding my magic amethyst to my heart, picking up my wonderful magic rose quartz, holding it to my heart, and praying that we'll be healed, we'll be loved, we'll be successful. We're going to be on top of the world. So stay positive. It's all about us, Kathy. Blessings.